Good morning. Welcome to 10 at 10. Hey, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what we left off on last week, which was don't get distracted or don't get disrailed. We need to continue to walk in love. With that in mind, Galatians chapter 5, verse 7 says, "You were running a good race. Who cut in on you and kept you from obeying the truth?" That kind of persuasion does not come from the one who calls you. A little yeast works through the whole batch of dough. I just want to talk a little bit about keeping a proper perspective. We recognize we're in the last days. By the way, if you hear noise going on, I'm just in the backyard and garbage trucks going by. The neighbors are working on their kitchens, so you may hear some cutting of tiles and stuff. It's life. So let's get back to the subject here. Walking in love is the preeminent expression of us, of Christ in us, is walking in love towards one another, walking in love towards the world and those that don't know Christ. The Bible tells us in 2 Timothy chapter 3, this is the Apostle Paul, who is the spiritual father, speaking to Timothy. And he's speaking to Timothy, but he's also speaking to his church in Ephesus, which some say was close to 50,000, could have been upwards of 50,000. So that was a mega church back then. But in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1, it says, "But you know this, that in the last days perilous times will come." In other words, some crazy stuff's going to happen. Can we say, but know this, that in the last days, 2020 will happen? All right, so now let's go on to verse 2. It says, "For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. And from such people turn away, for of those sort are the kind who creep into houses and make captives of gullible women, loaded down with sins and led astray by various lusts, always learning but never able to come to the knowledge of truth." Now really that last part we're not really focusing in on, but all of the other things, all of the other identifiers, so boasters, lovers of money, blasphemers, unloving, unthankful, unholy, unforgiving, all of those things are indicators of a lack of love, or a lack of walking in love. Now we know from the Word of God that it says that the love of God has been shed abroad in our hearts. And so if we know that the love of God has been shed abroad in our hearts, we have the love of God to walk out. But we have to choose to walk that love out. So all of these things that the Apostle Paul was telling Timothy would happen in the last days, I get the indication that this is not just unbelievers, but this is also believers that would act in these ways. I want to encourage you, walk in love today. Walk in love to those that may not seem very lovely. Walk in love towards yourself. And when we walk in love, the love of God, or God, shows up in the situation and people are drawn towards Him. Walking in love is the greatest power that the world has visible to them. It confounds the wise. It just confounds them. Because when we choose to walk in love rather than in revenge, God gets in the middle of things. So let's keep on walking in love today. Have a great day.